All right. All right. And roll. Okay, no. That's not this one. Howdy, everybody. Welcome to the Word, Praise, and Wisdom number 36. I thought I was going to get it wrong. All right. Howdy, Lynn.
Hi.
Actually, maybe I did get it wrong. I don't know. Anyways, we are continuing on in Proverbs today. And next time, too. Starting with Proverbs number 21, going through 22, 23, 24, and 25. You don't want to know what I'm hiccuping. Anyways, it's not alcohol.
It's breakfast.
Yeah. It's an Italiano breakfast. I'm doing oregano oil for stuff. Anyways, let's go ahead and pray in, shall we? Father, thank you very much for bringing us together for this fellowship to revel in your living word and get your knowledge and wisdom that you have left for us and posted for us. And we are very grateful and thank you for that. We are grateful for the people that have received healing that you have provided, even those that aren't aware they're currently your children. We would just ask that you call them to, and thank you for that. And also, we would ask for your continued protection and covering over our brothers and sisters that are being chased by the forest fires and other fires and other natural disasters. You are our covering, and we appreciate that and ask your continuance of it. Thank you, Father, in Jesus Yeshua's name. Amen. Okay, should we do the share thing? Let's do that. Let's do the share. Let's share.
Let's share. Sharing is caring.
Sharing is caring. That, and remember, everybody, if you want to read along with us, you can do it here, or you can go to kingjamesbibleonline.org. They also have the 1611 Bible there. Yeah, there's a difference between the King James and the King James 1611. You go to blueletterbible.org, multiple translations available there. You can go to esword.net. They have multiple translations there, but I think you have to pay for them. But the King James is free. And, well, if you got a comment,
make a donation.
Yeah, that's what they call it, to their eSword ministry. And remember, like, share, subscribe. Little thingy. Okay. Proverb 21. The king's heart is in the hand of the Lord. As the rivers of water, he turneth it whithersoever he will. Every way of a man is right in his own eyes, but the Lord pondereth the hearts. To do justice and judgment is more acceptable to the Lord than sacrifice. An high look and a proud heart, and the plowing of the wicked is sin. The thoughts of the diligent tend only to plenteousness, but of every one that is hasty only to want. The getting of treasures by a lying tongue is a vanity tossed to and fro of them that seek death. The robbery of the wicked shall destroy them, because they refuse to do judgment. The way of a man is froward and strange, but as for the pure, his work is right. It is better to dwell in a corner of a housetop than with a brawling woman in a wide house. The soul of the wicked desireth evil. His neighbor findeth no favor in his eyes. When the scorner is punished, the simple is made wise. And when the wise is instructed, he receiveth knowledge. The righteous man wisely considereth the house of the wicked, but God overthroweth the wicked for their wickedness. Whoso stoppeth his ears at the cry of the poor, he also shall cry himself, but shall not be heard. A gift in secret pacifieth anger, and a reward in the bosom strong wrath. It is joy to the just to do judgment, but destruction shall be to the workers of iniquity. The man that wandereth out of the way of understanding shall remain in the congregation of the dead. He that loveth pleasure shall be a poor man. He that loveth wine and oil shall not be rich. The wicked shall be a ransom for the righteous, and the transgressor for the upright. It is better to dwell in the wilderness than with a contentious and angry woman. There is treasure to be desired and oil in the dwelling up of the wise, but a foolish man spendeth it up. He that followeth after righteousness and mercy findeth life, righteousness, and honor. A wise man scaleth the city of the mighty, and casteth down the strength of the confidence thereof. Whoso keepeth his mouth and his tongue keepeth his soul from troubles. Proud and haughty scorner is his name, who dealeth in proud wrath. The desire of the slothful killeth him, for his hands refuse to labor. He coveteth greedily all the day long, but the righteous giveth and spareth not. The sacrifice of the wicked is an abomination. How much more when he bringeth it with a wicked mind? A false witness shall perish, but the man that heareth speaketh constantly. A wicked man hardeneth his face, but as for the upright, he directeth his way. There is no wisdom, nor understanding, nor counsel against the Lord. The horse is prepared against the day of battle, but safety is of the Lord.
Proverbs 22. A good name is rather to be chosen than great riches, and loving favor rather than silver and gold. The rich and poor meet together. The Lord is the maker of them all. A prudent man foreseeth the evil and hideth himself, but the simple pass on and are punished. By humility and the fear of the Lord are riches and honor and life. Thorns and snares are in the way of the froward, but he that doth keep his soul shall be far from them. Train up a child in the way he shall go, and when he is old, he will not depart from it. The rich ruleth over the poor, and the borrower servant to the lender. He that soweth iniquity shall reap vanity, and the rod of his anger shall fail. He that hath a bountiful eye shall be blessed, for he giveth of his bread to the poor. Cast out the scorner, and contention shall go out. Yea, strife and reproach shall cease. He that loveth pureness of heart, for the grace of his lips, the king shall be his friend. The eyes of the Lord preserve knowledge, and he overthroweth the words of the transgressor. The slothful man said, There is a lion without, I shall be slain in the streets. The mouth of a strange woman is a deep pit. He that is abhorred of the Lord shall fall therein. Foolishness is bound in the heart of a child, but the rod of correction shall drive it far from him. He that oppresseth the poor to increase his riches, and he that giveth to the rich shall surely come to want. Bow down thy ear, and hear the words of the wise, and apply thine heart unto my knowledge. For it is a pleasant thing if thou keep them within thee, they shall withal be fitted in thy lips. That thy trust may be in the Lord, I have made known to thee this day, even to thee. Have I not written to thee excellent things in counsels and knowledge, that I might make thee know the certainty of the words of truth, that thou mightest answer the word of truth to them that send unto thee? Rob not the poor because he is poor, neither oppress the afflicted in the gate. For the Lord will plead their cause and spoil the soul of those that spoiled them. Make no friendship with an angry man, and with a furious man thou shalt not go, lest thou learn his ways and get a snare to thy soul. Be not thou one of them that strike hands, or of them that are sureties for debts. If thou hast nothing to pay, why should he take away thy bed from under thee? Remove not the ancient landmark which thy fathers have set. Seest thou a man diligent in his business? He shall stand before kings. He shall not stand before mean men.
Proverb 23. When thou sittest to eat with a ruler, consider diligently what is before thee, and put a knife to thy throat if thou be a man given to appetite. Be not desirous of his dainties, for they are deceitful meat. Labor not to be rich, cease from thine own wisdom. Wilt thou set thine eyes upon that which is not? For riches certainly make themselves wings. They fly away as an eagle toward heaven. Eat thou not the bread of him that hath an evil eye, neither desire thou his dainty meats. For as he thinketh in his heart, so is he. Eat and drink, saith he to thee, but his heart is not with thee. The morsel which thou hast eaten shalt thou vomit up, and lose thy sweet words. Speak not in the ears of a fool, for he will despise the wisdom of thy words. Remove not the old landmark, and enter not into the fields of the fatherless. For their Redeemer is mighty, he shall plead their cause with thee. Apply thine heart unto instruction, and thine ears unto the words of knowledge. Withhold not correction from the child, for if thou beatest him with a rod, he shall not die. Thou shalt beat him with the rod, and shalt deliver his soul from hell. My son, if thine heart be wise, my heart shall rejoice, even mine. Yea, my reins shall rejoice, when thy lips speak right things. Let not thine heart envy sinners, but be thou in fear of the Lord all the day long. For surely there is an end, and thine expectation shall not be cut off. Hear thou, my son, and be wise, and guide thine heart in the way. Be not among winebibbers, among riotous eaters of flesh, for the drunkard and the glutton shall come to poverty, and drowsiness shall clothe a man with rags. Hearken unto thy father that begat thee, and despise not thy mother when she is old. Buy the truth, and sell it not. Also wisdom, and instruction, and understanding. The father of the righteous shall greatly rejoice, and he that begetteth a wise child shall have joy of him. Thy father and thy mother shall be glad, and she that bare thee shall rejoice. My son, give me thine heart, and let thine eyes observe my ways. For a whore is a deep ditch, and a strange woman is a narrow pit. She also lieth in wait as for a prey, and increaseth the transgressors among men. Who hath woe? Who hath sorrow? Who hath contentions? Who hath babbling? Who hath wounds without cause? Who hath redness of eyes? They that tarry long at the wine, they that go to seek mixed wine. Look not thou upon the wine when it is red, when it giveth his color is in the cup, when it moveth itself aright. At the last it biteth like a serpent, and stingeth like an adder. Thine eyes shall behold strange women, and thine heart shall utter perverse things. Yea, thou shalt not be as he that lieth down in the midst of the sea, or as he that lieth upon the top of a mast. They have stricken me, thou shalt say, and I was not sick. They have beaten me, and I felt it not. When shall I awake? I will seek it yet again.
Proverbs 24. Be not thou envious against evil men, neither desire to be with them. For their heart steadieth destruction, and their lips talk of mischief. Through wisdom is an house builded, and by understanding it is established. And by knowledge shall the chambers be filled, and with all precious and pleasant riches. A wise man is strong, yea, a man of knowledge increaseth strength. For by wise counsel thou shalt make thy war, and in multitude of counselors there is safety. Wisdom is too high for a fool, he openeth not his mouth in the gate. He that deviseth to do evil shall be called a mischievous person. The thought of foolishness is sin, and the scorner is an abomination to men. If thou faint in the day of adversity, thy strength is small. If thou forbear to deliver them that are drawn unto death, and those that are ready to be slain, if thou sayest, Behold, we knew it not, doth not he that pondereth the heart consider it? And he that keepeth thy soul, does not he know of it? And shall not he render to every man according to his works? My son, eat thou honey because it is good, and the honeycomb which is sweet to thy taste. So shall the knowledge of wisdom be unto thy soul. When thou hast found it, then there shall be a reward, and thy expectation shall not be cut off. Lay not wait, O wicked man, against the dwelling of the righteous. Spoil not his resting place. For a just man falleth 7 times and riseth up again, but the wicked shall fall into mischief. Rejoice not when thine enemy falleth, and let not thine heart be glad when he stumbleth. Let the Lord see it, and it displease him, and he turn away his wrath from him. Fret not thyself because of evil men, neither be thou envious at the wicked. For there shall be no reward to the evil man. The candle of the wicked shall be put out. My son, fear thou the Lord and the king, and meddle not with them that are given to change. For their calamity shall rise suddenly. Who knoweth the ruin of them both? These things also belong to the wise. It is not good to have respect of persons in judgment. He that said unto the wicked, Thou art righteous, him shall the people curse, nations shall abhor him. But to them that rebuke him shall be delight, and a good blessing shall come upon them. Every man shall kiss his lips that giveth a right answer. Prepare thy work without, and make it fit for thyself in the field, and afterward build thine house. Be not a witness against thy neighbor without cause, and deceive not with thy lips. Say not, I will do so to him as he hath done to me. I will render to the man according to his work. I went by the field of the slothful, and by the vineyard of the man void of understanding. And lo, it was grown over with thorns, and nettles had covered the face thereof, and the stone wall was broken down. Then I saw and considered it well. I looked upon it and received instruction. Yet a little sleep, a little slumber, a little folding of the hands to sleep, so shall thy poverty come as one that travaileth, and thy want as an armed man.
Proverb 25. These are also Proverbs of Solomon, which the men of Hezekiah of Judah copied out. It is the glory of God to conceal a thing, but the honor of kings is to search out a matter. The heaven for height, and the earth for depth, and the heart of kings is unsearchable. Take away the dross from the silver, and there shall come forth a vessel for the finer. Take away the wicked from before the king, and his throne shall be established in righteousness. Put not forth thyself in the presence of the king, and stand not in the place of great men. For better it is that it be said unto thee, Come up hither, than that thou shouldst be put in the presence of the prince, lower in the presence of the prince, from thine eyes, whom thine eyes have seen. Go not forth hastily to strive, lest thou know not what to do in the end thereof, when thy neighbor hath put thee to shame. Debate thy cause with thy neighbor himself, and discover not a secret to another. Lest he heareth it put thee to shame. Lest he that heareth it put thee to shame, and thine infamy turn not away. A word fitly spoken is like apples of gold in pictures of silver. As an earring of gold and an ornament of fine gold, so is a wise reprover upon an obedient ear. As the cold of snow in the time of harvest, so is a faithful messenger to them that send him. For he refresheth the soul of his masters. Whoso boasteth himself of a false gift is like clouds and wind without rain. By long forbearing is a prince persuaded, and a soft tongue breaketh the bone. Hast thou found honey? Eat so much as is sufficient for thee, lest thou be filled therewith, and vomit it. Withdraw thy foot from thy neighbor's house, lest he be weary of thee, and so hate thee. A man that beareth false witness against his neighbor is a maul, and a sword, and a sharp arrow. Confidence is an unfaithful man in time of trouble. Confidence in an unfaithful man in time of trouble is like a broken tooth, and a foot out of joint. As he that taketh away a garment in cold weather, and as vinegar upon nitre, so is he that singeth songs to an heavy heart. If thine enemy be hungry, give him bread to eat, and if he be thirsty, give him water to drink. For thou shalt heap coals of fire upon his head, and the Lord shall reward thee. The north wind driveth away rain, so doth an angry countenance a backbiting tongue. It is better to dwell in the corner of the housetop than with a brawling woman and in a wide house. As cold waters to a thirsty soul, so is good news from a far country. A righteous man falling down before the wicked is as a troubled fountain in a corrupt spring. It is not good to eat much honey. So for men to search their own glory is not glory. He that hath no rule over his own spirit is like a city that is broken down and without walls. You're muted.
I just whispered, wow.
Yeah, it is a wow. Wow. That. Okay. Excuse me. Back to Proverb 21, chapter 21. And we have a lot of repeating messages, I guess you could say, in this reading today. Anyways, what is it that jumped out to you initially on this one?
Verse 2.
Is it? Okay.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we think we're right in our own eyes, but what's in our heart? Only God knows what's in our heart.
Yep. This is true. Let's see.
Where have we heard verse 3 before?
Lots of places. Now, this jumped out at me while reading this one.
Mm-hmm.
The way judgment is used in this proverb. What is that? Hebrew 4941 mishpat. Verdict, sentence, law, right? Abstractly, justice, right or privilege, style. But I find that interesting. It's a judgment that's already been made. And if you remember a couple of readings ago when we were talking about judgment, it praises our Father's judgment and law. It's because he already figured everything out. This is the judgment. The judgment leads to him saying, this is the law, don't do this. Right? He's already made the judgment, and it's interesting because it says to do justice and judgment is more acceptable to the Lord than sacrifice.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of the same as, he doesn't want, your bloody sacrifice. He wants your obedience.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's a whole lot easier to do that obedience than to slaughter an animal, make your sacrifice.
Yep.
Cleaner too.
Yep. 7 is what made me start thinking about that. The robbery of the wicked shall destroy them, but because they refuse to do judgment, they refuse to be obedient to what led to those commandments. Is how I'm seeing it. Yep. What else you have?
Not till 23.
Okay. I found 11 insightful. Mm-hmm. Right? The scorner is punished. The simple is made wise. Right? The person that's like observing someone else get punished for, let's see what that word is. Scorner, scoffer is what I'm picturing. To make mouths at, so I guess. Oh, look, to scoff. Interpret. Intercede. Someone butting in, I guess. I've got a great big butt.
Okay.
Yeah, but then when the wise is instructed, he receives knowledge, right? So basically, when you see this person punished that's mocking or scoffing, but then the wise person, if you tell them, hey, don't pick that up, you might burn your hands, they listen. and grab some work gloves or something. Oven mitts. Okay, you said what? 20?
23.
Oh, 23. Okay.
It's true. I've had to work really hard on my mouth. Because
Right.
sometimes the things that come out of it, it gets me in trouble. And sometimes it gets other people in trouble. I'm not trying to get them in trouble. It just happens that way because
Right. Well, because of our mouth.
Mhm.
Yeah. Yep. It's one of those
You don't be
things.
telling everything you know because it's not nice.
Yep. This is interesting. The desire of the slothful killeth him, for his hands refuse to labor.
Oh.
It's like the, I guess that, well, what that brings to my mind is the person that sits around saying, I wish I had this, or I wish I had that, or I wish I could do this, or I wish I could do that, instead of working towards it. And, it reminds me, I had a set of twins that were friends when we were growing up, and their dad would ask you something, and you'd say, well, I'm going to do this. He'd say, oh, another member of the I'm Gonna Club, huh? Yep, that's right. I'm going to prove you wrong.
It's the pipe dream club.
Yeah, the pipe dream. No, we just had the pipe. Yes, we were those kind of teenagers.
Yes, we were.
Okay.
What
What else?
we made it through, and here we are with Jesus. Yay.
That's right. What else you got? What has jumped out at you? Anything else on this?
Verse 26. I mean, it's true. It's so true.
Right. Well, it's still talking about the lazy person or the deer. Yeah, the slothful. Yep, it is. It's like sitting around planning what you're going to do with the winning lottery ticket. Been there, done that. It's easier just to work for it.
Yeah, that's your redneck retirement fund right there.
Yeah. Let's see. What was that you were talking about? There was something that jumped out at me after you looked at that.
Well, verse 30 is good. There is no wisdom, nor understanding, nor counsel against the Lord.
Yeah. No, because nobody knows him. Nobody knows his mind or his heart.
Well, how could we? I mean,
yep.
We know what he told us, and we've seen his actions and everything, but we can't search out each other's hearts, and we can barely search out our own. So sometimes, how can we even?
And then 31, remember the Royal Lipizzaner stallions? I think the white horses that they used to tour around with, and they were trained. They've been trained for war since Napoleonic times, and so they do all kinds of, tricks. But it's actually battle training, and it's interesting. You can have a horse that's a total warrior, but you're not safe if you don't have Yah. If you're not in His salvation. Yeah. If you haven't seen those, look up the Royal Lipizzaner stallions. It's spelled like it sounds, but if you misspell it, your computer will correct you, I'm sure. Okay. Proverb 22.
22.
And that, boy, 1. Right? Verse 1. That one is... That is huge, right? Because people that knew me in my former life, like we were just talking about, right? Teenager pipes and stuff. still talk about, man, he's crazy. What's wrong with him? Got to live 40 years ago. Got to relive stuff from 40 years ago without them realizing that they're not the same people, that they started businesses and have a reputation and style, a good reputation now. But I think that's why Yeshua was refused in his, what did it say? A prophet is not received in his own country. And, they knew him growing up. They're like, oh, are you pushing this righteousness stuff again? Quick, let's run away. Here comes Jesus.
Right?
I mean, I can see his siblings being like that.
Oh, I've experienced that myself. Yeah. It's like nobody believes what you're saying. You're all like, but
yep.
You've known me for how long?
And that goes back to Paul talking about, and Yeshua talking about, Jesus talking about, we have to be the example. We have to walk it out. And then people say, whoa, wow, they're doing really well right now. Maybe I should actually listen to what they're saying now, because I see what they're doing now.
Mm-hmm.
Makes a big difference.
Yeah, actions speak louder than words.
Yes, they do. Okay. What else do we have in this?
Well, verse 6 was my mother's favorite verse.
Was it?
One of them, yeah. Yep.
Yep. And that's truth right there.
It is. It is. Yeah.
One of the things that I've that was suppressed, one of the memories I had suppressed for so long, trying to block out the bad, but then the good. It's funny because once you address the bad stuff in your past, trust me on this, once you submit to our Father through his Son, that and acknowledge all the bad crap you did, he's going to give you good memories that you totally forgot about. And one of those for me was when my parents separated. Isn't that a good memory? When my parents separated and were getting divorced, my mom turned back to Scripture and would read Scripture to me out loud like a child's book. I remember the Battle of Jericho, baby. And that was good times, right? But think about that. 4 years old, 5 years old, that seed is planted. Lynn and I are from the desert where seeds can lay dormant for decades, and it has. But it grows up and becomes fruitful and bountiful.
Thank you, Mama. Thank you, Mama.
Yeah, amen. Oh. Boy, 7. And I can tell you right from personal experience, the rich ruleth over the poor, and the borrower is servant to the lender. That it is a super long, sucky struggle to get out of their usury credit card loaning, borrowing debt. It's hard.
Sure. Yes.
But you can do it. I've done it. Other people have done it. And don't get back into it. Because I can tell you, it's really weird having a truck that's paid off and somebody that's in debt $70,000 kind of looking down their nose at you. Why are you driving that beat up old thing?
Because I don't have a payment.
because I live in the black and not in the red, right? Stop making payments on it, buddy. See what happens. Yep. You're going to be on that. What's that show? Like, I forget what it's called. Where the repo people go, try to snatch cars from people while they're at work or whatever. That I will whop you upside head with this wrench.
I had them call me and say, "Where's your car?" And I told them, "I'm not going to tell you where my car is." And he said, "Nobody's hid their car from us as long as you have." And I'm just like, so the minute I brought it home was the minute they took it, you know.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
I was letting somebody else drive it.
Where's your car? That's when you memorize cars that look just like yours.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's at this apartment complex. After they get sued like 10 times for stealing the wrong cars or taking.
Right. Oh,
Okay, we don't do that. We are just kidding.
we're just teasing. We're just kidding.
We're just teasing and kind of pointing out how the system works against itself because it's not Yah's system. Okay. What else do we have? I love 9. He that hath a bountiful eye shall be blessed, for he giveth of his bread to the poor. And you know what? I've seen more people helping the poor. I mean, like the homeless, the people that don't want to be homeless, not the, not the, I'm going to stand in the median with the misspelled sign says, "We'll work for food." That stuff. Not that person. The person that's like trying to stay out of the public eye because they're ashamed that they got to this point and stuff. You'll see them. Their car's filled with crap and they might have children. So just keep your eyes open. Say, "Hey, do you need some food? Is there anything else I can help you with?"
Especially right now in the summer, you know.
Yep.
Thinking about that yesterday, but I'm gonna need to hand out some water and stuff on occasion.
Yep. Yeah. I need to start that up again. It got hot early this year.
Oh, you think?
Yep.
I was feeling a little slothful those first couple of days.
Yeah.
It's too hot.
So
It hurt.
24. So strange woman, that's compound, or that's a word here, Hebrew 2114, to turn, a foreigner, strange, profane, and then you get commit adultery. So stay away from the strange woman. And it keeps coming up, a deep pit, and then what's another one that was used? A narrow, deep, narrow pit.
We'll get to it. I think
It's coming up.
A deep ditch and a narrow pit.
Deep ditch, narrow pit. It's like when my truck started itself up and drove into the deep ditch. It happened. I'll tell you the story sometime.
Oh.
Hey. Yep. Okay. What else is jumping out to you here in 22?
When we get to verse 23.
Okay.
Well, I see that, now he's telling them, do this and don't take money from the poor, because if you do that, Abba's going to plead their cause and he's going to spoil the soul of them that did that.
Yeah.
That stole from the poor. Because really, if you're stealing from the poor, shame on you.
So what is that? Spoil. It's
Spoil.
6906. Oops. Kabah. Does that show up? It does. Look at that. Okay. Kabah, meaning cover or defraud. Right?
Huh. Rob.
Interesting. It's the same word here. Okay, what else have we got there?
Huh.
This I found interesting. Make no friendship with an angry man. And I think, it's not, we see it now more as an emotion, but I believe it's a state of being, a state of someone that's always angry. Always mad.
I have experience with that. That is actually a demon. It's the spirit of anger. And when I was an angry person, everybody could see that. And anger just came with me. And everybody could see it. It was on the face, and anybody could, I mean, they could just tell. But
Yep.
it was the spirit of anger. And even sometimes it tries to come back. And I have to tell it to go away in the name of Jesus. Get out. Get out. There's no place for you here. I'm going to have anger. It's going to be a righteous anger because it's something that makes God angry. And that's going to be a different anger, and it's going to go away.
Yeah, I was angry also, and I think a lot of it was not being in control, right? So I was lashing out, and it's funny because my mom used to have these sayings, these old witticisms, like, boy, that lady's got a bee in her bonnet, or other things like that. And one of the ones she used to say was, "You make me so mad I can't see straight."
Yeah.
And one day I was worked up about something and all PO'd and looking for something at the same time. And I realized I was so mad, I was like cross-eyeing myself, having an argument with someone that was no longer there. and I was like, whoa, that's what that saying means. So mad you can't see straight. And that's about the time I started trying to work on it too. But
Well, and
it's
anger
easy to
can
slip
be,
back into.
yeah, wow. It can be a really good cover for deep and hurt and pain and stuff too.
Yeah. Yep. It can.
No friendship with an angry man,
Yeah.
lest thou learn his ways and get a snare to thy soul. So,
Yep.
there you go.
And then here we have repeated the debt, right?
Mm-hmm.
Don't be making agreements of them with them, and don't you know don't also be one of those people that are a surety for a debt.
So, in other words, don't co-sign.
That's one thing. Oh man, you see that all the time in news reports now too. Our child wanted to become a paint artistic historian or something, and we co-signed college for them, and now they quit and are working at 7-Eleven, and we have $85,000 of debt. How do we make them pay it? Well, you co-signed it. Too bad.
Yep.
My friend sold his truck that I co-signed for. You hear that a lot too. And I'm still making payments on it. How can I get it back? You co-signed it. You're legally obligated. Take them to court.
Yep.
Oh, now you got to take them to court. You got Babylon involved for signing and for borrowing money, and you got Babylon involved for fixing a wrong. Okay, let's see here.
Well, it just ends up costing you a lot of extra money.
Yep. Well, it's interesting because that very next verse in 27, if you don't have anything to pay, why should they take your bed out from under you? If you don't, you can't, it goes to with you can't beat a dead horse. What is it? You can't squeeze blood from a turnip or something like that?
You can't get blood from a turnip.
Look at Mom got me hooked on all them old timey sayings today. Oh, goodness. Yep. Here we have landmarks again. Don't mess with it. It's not yours.
Yep. Stop it. Smack your hand.
So that wraps up in 29. If you see someone that's diligent in what they do, they're going to stand before kings and not before mean men. Not Let's see what that word mean is.
Mm.
Mean.
Oh, I have to go back.
Mean, and actually notice men is added, that italics. So Hebrew 2:8-2:3.
Ooh.
Kashok, dark. Ooh. Shall not stand before dark men.
Obscure.
Yeah.
Huh.
Obscure men. Interesting. All right, let's go to 23. 23. Okay, 1 through 3.
Well, I had 3.
It's quite the. It made me think about a lot of things, right? If you're eating with a ruler, see what that is. Ruler is 4910. Mashal, rule. Okay. But consider what's before you diligently, right? You better think about it before you take what they're offering, especially if you're a man given to appetite. If you're going to eat a lot, or if you're going to take a lot of what they're offering, you better think about it. Right? Now it says it's talking about food, but I'll give you what I think is a prime example. When I had my gun shop, I went to the Small Business Administration and asked for a loan. Figured it out, did all the math, had all the paperwork and everything. This is what I need to get rolling in business. I wanted to borrow $50,000. They said, no, we won't loan you $50,000. But looking at what you want to do, we could loan you $250,000. Right? That's just a heap of enslavement there, right? The lender is borrower, or the what was it? The borrower is slave to the lender. $250,000 a slave, plus all those other encumbrances that come with a gun shop. No, I chose not to do it, and I did not put the knife to my throat. Okay. Yep. And that goes right with that. Don't work to be rich. That's not worth it.
Nope.
Yep. You know, it's interesting too, because looking at this, because down in 6 also, eat not the bread of someone with an evil eye, nor desire his dainty meats. And continues, for as he thinks in his heart, so he is. He says eat and drink, but he's not thinking about it. You remember 20 years ago when there was like some weird thing in business communities where they would have you meet them to sign a contract at an adult club, right? That exposes skin. And I was just like, why would you do that? Because it's filled with distractions. They can ply you with alcohol. Or how hard is it going to be to read the fine print when there's music thumping all loud and stuff?
Yeah, and it's dark, sort of.
Yeah, it's literally dark.
Literally dark, yeah.
But the same thing.
Yes.
Well, I'll tell you what, why don't we discuss it over dinner? I'll treat you to dinner. It doesn't have to include all the swankiness. Swankiness? Sluttiness? Okay. Anyways, don't do it.
Don't do it.
Yep, we have the landmark again.
Mm-hmm.
And don't enter into the fields of the fatherless. Now, what do you think that's for? Don't enter into the fields of the fatherless. Is that saying you don't work their field? You know, don't take advantage of their fields because there's no man there to plant it?
Don't you get out there and plant it then.
Well, I don't know. Yeah.
Maybe that, I don't know, maybe that means just don't be
'Cause we're-
taking advantage of the fact that there's nobody there
Right.
and be going on there and taking stuff.
Right. I think that's what it is. Because we're told to take care of the fatherless. I think doing that would be like, you know, come on. We're going to show you how to plow. We're going to show you how to sow. We're going to show you how to water and reap.
Hmm.
Okay. Here we got the beaten children knowledge.
That's what I had. These are the ones I underlined, 13 and 14.
Yeah.
Yeah, he shall not die.
Yeah.
I'm glad I got spanked when I was little because, yeah, it set me right. Put a little fear in me not to do the wrong thing.
Right. Yeah. Let's see. Is that the same word? Yeah, it is. 7625. Branch, scion. Clever. Scion. Stick. Clan. Figuratively, it's a clan.
So, ooh,
I know that gives a whole different meaning now.
it does. So the whole clan would be kind of like looking at the child like, you messed up, you know you did. You know.
That's interesting. If you beat him with the clan, he shall not die. Well, you know, it reminds me of when a child does something wrong and uncles and aunts and grandparents are chiming in.
Right?
That's a different type of beating, and that's often worse than the belt.
That's what I'm saying.
Interesting.
So then what do you do with the one child where that makes no difference? I mean, we know what it says.
Beat
We
'em.
know what it says about that child.
No, don't beat him.
But we don't do that.
I'll tell you what, though, as people from the South know, switches work wonder.
Shoes work good.
La chancla. Man,
Get that belt off of there real quick. You can use that. I remember getting a swat in front of the whole class when I was in 5th grade.
Did
with
you?
the paddle. And that's embarrassing. And then you don't mess up after that because your clan is all looking at you getting punished.
Yeah. Well, I dared a kid in the 3rd grade in Kentucky to erase the assignment off the chalkboard.
Oh,
And he did it. So because I planted that seed, I got spanked. Also, I got paddled. Also, and I'd had a fair amount of that growing up to that point. And the principal made it quite clear: hang on to the chair. You're going to get 3 swats. If you move your hands off the chair, you're going to get another swat. And I was like, okay. And I felt the sting from that first one. I was like, yeah, I'll just keep holding on to the chair because I don't want more than 3 of those. And then I went to I say I went to sat down, but it wasn't really sitting. I was kind of like holding myself up.
You're on one side. You're like,
Yep.
squatted
And
over your chair.
and the the first one came down on the other kid's butt. First thing he did was put both of his hands back there, and no, don't do that. And he ended up with like 7 or 8, and I was just like, by the time he was done, I could sit. Okay, yep, it's better to take the correction than to fight it.
Yep.
Okay, what else? Do you have anything else for 23?
Well, verse 20.
Okay.
Riotous eaters of flesh.
Now, remember though, for most of the Old Testament and the law, where it says meat, it's talking about a grain or bread offering.
Mm-hmm.
And they specify flesh. When flesh is eaten, it's called flesh.
Mm-hmm.
Remember how we sat around the flesh pots of Egypt?
Yes. Ooh.
Okay, fine. Yeah. I'm gonna give you so much quail you barf it out your nose. Okay, that's paraphrased a bit, but if you don't think that's what happened, go back and read it again.
Yeah. Yep.
All right, honor your mother and father. Right after that. Yeah. Let's see. I don't think there was anything else. We have this repeated. Deep ditch, narrow pit. Stay away from the strange women.
Lieth in wait as for prey.
Mm-hmm. Strange women again.
Mm-hmm.
So it's important. And that has been this is still on the wine. How many people have woken up with a bloody, scabby face and said, "What happened?" Me. I'm one of them.
Oh, I remember all of it.
I remember a lot of it.
I remember every stupid thing.
Okay,
I wasn't blessed with blackouts like some of you people.
Yeah. But number 1, don't envy evil men, and don't desire to be with them.
Desire to be with them. That's just going to drag you down.
Yep. Through wisdom as an house builded, and by understanding is it established, by the knowledge, and by knowledge shall the chambers be filled with all precious and pleasant riches. All right? Wisdom. Where does it come from? From our Father. Heavenly Father.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. What do you think 7 is?
I don't know. I was just wondering.
Wisdom is too high for a fool. He openeth not his mouth at the gate of wisdom. I think basically modern proverb for that would be there's no such thing as a stupid question, or the only stupid question is the one that isn't asked.
Mm-hmm.
Right? If we don't understand, we have to get clarification. Right? And how that's where prayer comes in. Father, why is it like this?
Yeah, I don't understand.
Yeah.
I have a lot of why questions like a 5-year-old.
Yep. The thought of foolishness is sin. Let's see what foolishness is. Hebrew 200, right? Evileth. Evileth. Okay. From
Evilith?
the same as Hebrew 191, silliness.
Oh.
Hebrew 191, evil, perverse, silly. Isn't there something Paul says about silly women?
I don't know.
Yeah, 2 Timothy chapter 3, verse 6. For of this sort are they that creep into houses and lead captive silly women laden with sins, led away with diverse lusts. Right?
So
Talking
silly
about,
women, they don't consider some of the.
yeah, godlessness in the last days. Help. That's what we have. Where are we at? 24? Yeah.
Hmm.
Okay. Interesting. Silliness. Well, it's something else I have to change, apparently.
Well, wait a minute. There's silliness, and then there's being silly just because you're having fun or you're laughing or you're being childlike. I think in this case, the silliness is you're being a fool. You're being foolish. You're not considering things
Right. Well,
on a daily
this
basis.
specifically talking about, what was it? What verse was that? 9. The thought of foolishness. The thought of silliness. Let's make sure thought is thought.
Yeah. Oh boy.
Yeah, I know. That thought is 2514 Zimah. Plan. Okay, so for planning silliness. So not just thinking about it, but planning it out.
Okay.
Could that be pranks, practical jokes?
Oh.
Yeah, I know. Yep.
Something to pray about for sure, because well, we don't want to have fun at people's expense, but seriously, I do like to laugh at myself.
Right.
And if you're going to make a joke about me, I can laugh about it too, because quite frankly, it's funny.
Oh, yeah.
Mm.
Look at this, 19. Fret not thyself because of evil, neither be thou envious at the wicked. So, for there shall be no reward to the evil, the candle of the wicked shall be put out. Don't worry about what they're doing. Okay? Worry about, well, right?
Yep,
Fear Jehovah, the Lord, and the King, and meddle not with them that are given to change.
I'll be right back.
Okay. Right? So lots of people are worrying about it. But their calamity shall rise suddenly, and who knoweth the ruin of them both? For that day shall come upon them like a thief in the night. Their calamity shall rise suddenly. And that there was some other stuff in here. I think it might be in 25. Now, this is interesting. From 30 onward, basically a warning against being slothful. Don't let your vineyard become overgrown with nettles and thorns. Right? Make sure your wall is up and strong. And how do we do that? We seek the Lord, right? We seek him.
Especially when it's hard.
Yeah. Okay,
Yeah.
let's go to 25. 25. 25. Okay. Okay, so still Proverbs of Solomon, which the men of Hezekiah, king of Judah, copied out. But then it keeps going on about the same thing. 25:2, glory of God to conceal a thing, but the honor of kings to search it out. That kings is Hebrew 4428. King, Melech, from Hebrew 4427. To reign, throne, induct. That's interesting. Induct into royalty. Induct to take counsel. That's all this right here.
To search out, to examine intimately.
Yeah.
I like that verse.
The what?
I like that verse.
It is good. All of it's good. It's jumping out at me now, though.
I think he likes us to do that. Like, look, I hit a little gem for you here. You
Yeah.
gotta go find it.
Yep. So basically, 9 we have restated. Right? If you have a problem with your brother, go to them privately and tell them what you have, the problem you have with them. Right? Debate thy cause with thy neighbor. Go to your neighbor and say, man, what? You're hanging all that stuff on the fence, and I don't want to look at your wife's underwear. Bad. Right? Oh, I'm sorry. But you don't sit there and go to everybody else. You know what that Mr. Jones is doing? He's hanging his big fat wife's underwear on the fence. No, don't do that.
And you certainly don't do it in front of that person.
Yeah. Yep. Now, what about 11? That it's just phrased interesting. A word fitly spoken is like apples of gold in pictures of silver. Fitly is Hebrew 5921. Properly, it's the same as 5920, meaning above, over, upon, against. And then it's also ofen. Hebrew 655, revolve or turn. A season. Okay, so when it's supposed to be. So a word properly or timely spoken, apples of gold, in pictures of silver. So that would be like, what are those called? Where they make the
relief?
Maybe I guess maybe relief, where they make the
embossing,
but it's metal. That more like an embossing, I guess. I'm thinking
stamping, embossing.
Where they take it, where they'll take. They do it big in Mexican culture, but they take a sheet of tin and put it on a sandbag, and then hammer out a design in the metal, and then you can put other metal in it, like copper.
It's pretty cool.
Yeah, I think that's what it's talking about, except with gold and silver.
Ooh.
Instead of tin and copper. As an earring of gold and an ornament of fine gold. A wise reprover upon an obedient ear. I missed this. Totally missed this when we were reading. Right? As the cold of snow in time of harvest, so is a faithful messenger to them that send him, for he refresheth the soul of his masters. Yeah, it might be nice to, when you're totally sweating out in the fields. Nice cold snow. That must be a winter harvest. Winter wheat.
Lettuce.
Yep.
For us, it's lettuce.
Let's see. Boy, this jumped out in my mind today. Whoso boasteth himself of a false gift is like clouds and wind without rain. I believe we see that quite a bit.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the Western modern church. No, I have a gift of this. I'm reminded of the one guy everybody says, a lot of people say is a prophet. And they're like, look, he predicted this would come true. But what I see is literally days and days and days and days and days of him standing at a piano or organ just babbling stuff. And if you go back through it, yeah, he's pretty much said everything that can possibly be said. Any possible outcome. And then, of course, you can go back to that and say, look, he said it was going to come true.
Mm-hmm.
That's my opinion. Right? Because we're told the spirit of prophecy is the testimony of Jesus Christ.
Right.
And we can see that all through the prophets, if you read the prophets with us, all throughout it. Salvation, mercy, forgiveness of sins. They knew it was coming.
Mm-hmm.
25, don't wear out your welcome.
Right.
Yep, I've thought about that. And then this one too. Right? If you lie about your neighbor, you're tearing up his reputation, right? Remember, we just read in the beginning, a good reputation is like gold. It's better than gold. Better than gold and silver. And if you're sitting there smashing up their treasure, that's bad. And once it happens to you, you'll know why.
Oh, yeah. I had to go through that.
Yep.
But it's okay because I learned a lot of things.
It's funny because I was just thinking about this too. Confidence in an unfaithful man in time of trouble is like a broken tooth and a foot out of joint. I came to the conclusion, yeah, there's people that will call on you in times of their trouble, but they're nowhere to be found.
Yep.
When you need some help with something.
Yep.
So that's what I think that's talking about.
I think so too, and that's interesting because it turns out I have a friend like that, which now I'm really not considering much of a friend anymore.
Well, we got to. I don't want to say cut our losses, but at the same time,
we got to cut our losses.
I've spent a lot of my life trying to keep lines of communication open, to keep friendship open, or familial ties open. And when I stop, there's no effort made on the other person's part. And then I realized, well, you know what? Because it's not meant to be, I guess. They have other things more important in their life that they deem more important. So, Okay. Yep. And look at this. Didn't Jesus say this? If thine enemy be hungry, give him bread to eat. And if you be thirsty, give him water to drink. Or Paul maybe? I don't remember who said it, but someone said it after Yeshua was born, and it's written down. Here we have righteous anger, right? North wind driveth away rain, so an angry countenance, a backbiting tongue. So there's one example of righteous anger.
Yep.
Okay, this is repeated again. Gentlemen, it doesn't say it's better for a man to dwell in the corner of a housetop. It says it's better to dwell in the corner of a housetop than with a brawling woman in a wide house. I guess that means for anybody.
Yeah.
Well, actually, I know it does because I've been exposed to situations where mom was angry and everybody needed to avoid her. Brothers, sisters, husband.
Yep. Even the animals were out of here. Oh, she's going to throw things. Let's go.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Seriously, who are you fighting with? Yourself?
Exactly.
Silly people. They're silly again.
So this, I think, is worded crappily in the King James. Right? It's not good to eat much honey. Basically, eating too much honey is the same way as men that seek out their own glory. Right? Patting yourself on the back. That's not good to do. And look at that. This wraps up with what we were talking about, that spirit of anger.
Mm-hmm.
You can't control it. You have no rule over your own spirit. You're like a city that's broken down without walls.
It's true. Everything comes in.
Detroit. Okay. Don't be Detroit. Okay, for those of you from Detroit, I apologize, but you know it's true. It's run down. And it doesn't have walls. Very few walled cities in the United States. Or North America, for that matter.
Are there any?
Tucson used to be walled. But they left a little piece of it up, but the rest was torn down so they could build the convention center.
Oh, here's the memorial to our wall. It's a little tiny brick.
And then they paid to buy an empty square mile of land and told all the Mexican families that had been living here since the 16 and 1700s, you go live there. True story. Everybody thinks they would never do that now. Well, I say, look at that case in Connecticut where they took people's property to open up, what was it? A casino or something? And the Supreme Court said, yeah, you can use eminent domain like that.
Yeah, they do that all the time for highways and yep.
Things like that are going to change soon, I think. But that doesn't mean embrace the system. It doesn't mean, oh, look, the system's filled with God now. No, it doesn't mean that.
No.
Okay. Anything else, Lynn?
No.
Okay. Everybody, thanks for tuning in. We will have another reading for you soon. We're going to be doing 26 through 30 on Thursday. And then after that, we have just one chapter in Proverbs. And then we'll talk about what are we reading next. I know. Still waiting for those volunteers for Jasher.
Well, I know. Come on, guys.
Come on.
It's going to be super fun to read Jasher. The more the merrier.
The more the merrier. A merry soul is he. Or she. Okay, everybody, thanks for tuning in. We love you. We love you. Talk to you soon. Bye.